I'm Gabriel Bickel.
I'm Gunnar Johnson.
I'm Dylan Wiley.
I'm Ben Smith.
And you're listening to Reality with a Twist, the very first podcast episode. If we can get a round of applause for that. Yes. So we used to have a radio show at our high school and under the same name, and we wanted to kind of continue that. So I'm going to start off with an icebreaker just so we get to know everybody a little bit better. Literally, like, imagine a university icebreaker. So you're going to tell me your name, your major, your university, your job, but don't be specific. Just say what line of work you're in, and your favorite kind of cheese. If Ben would like to go first.
Ooh, okay. I see we're getting to the personal details here.
Yes.
A lot of personal details, yeah.
So again, I'm Ben. I'm majoring in criminal justice at Indiana Wesleyan University. I work with unloading trucks at a department store. And then my favorite kind of cheese, I would probably have to say, if anything, Munster cheese.
Munster, that's a classic.
Munster's really good, yeah.
It is. I'll go next just because I'm on my screen. I'm one down from Ben. My name's Gabriel. I am a marketing major at Ball State University. I work in retail, and my favorite kind of cheese is absolutely 100% smoked Gouda. You cannot go wrong with smoked Gouda.
Smoked Gouda. I don't think I've ever had that before.
Oh, you should. Oh my God.
All right. Well, I think I'm next.
I believe so.
My name is Gunnar. I go to Purdue University studying pharmacy, and I work in pharmacy. And then I would say my favorite type of cheese is 100% Asiago.
I've never had Asiago.
Oh, amazing on bagels.
All right, then I guess since I'm the last one on the list, well, my name is Dylan. I go to my major is my line of work. I am the director of quality assurance at a gaming company that does stuff on Roblox. And my favorite type of cheese, I would say, oh man, you guys took the Munster already. I guess I'll say mozzarella. I think that counts.
Like fresh mozzarella or like stuff you buy at the store?
I think it can vary. I don't mind the stuff that you buy at the store, the mozzarella sticks. I also don't mind the fresh mozzarella coming straight from the cow. I don't know. But
Oh, yes. I love squeezing the udders of a cow and getting fresh mozzarella.
Still warm, man.
Okay. That's what's best.
So speaking of universities, I think we should just jump right into our first topic of today, which is our university stereotypes. We used to all go to high school together, as we know, and we literally all decided to go to different universities, except for Dylan. He decided to leave. So
yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yes. So I'll start. I go to Ball State University. We are known as a communications and teaching college. We also have a very, very good architecture college here. I set up a poll or like a questionnaire on my Instagram story. I got 4 responses, and 3 of the 4 of them just said it was a party school, which I absolutely agree with. I've never been to a Ball State party. I have no interest in going to a Ball State party, and neither does my girlfriend really, but it is constant. Every Friday, every Saturday even. Hell, sometimes on Thursdays, you'll see people out and about trying to get, wasted.
Well, I gotta ask then, like, have even though you don't like going to the parties yourself, have you personally gone to at least one just to see what it's like? Or
so, in a sense, like, my group of friends last year, which were all coincidentally from our high school, except for one, we would often just drink together, and I guess you can count that as a party. But they were toxic as hell, so I don't really talk to them anymore.
Very good.
But because I mean, and that kind of gave alcohol like a bad taste in my mouth. I still drink relative, like, every once in a while, but just last year kind of made me not as interested in it. But yeah, absolutely, it is a party school. Another, I think the two other best known, things about Ball State are Bob Ross filming The Joy of Painting here, literally on campus, and Jim Davis, the creator of Garfield, he currently teaches here. So a lot of pop culture has originated from good old Muncie, Indiana. Yeah.
Pretty freaking cool.
And a little bit of a darker note, we are probably one of the whitest schools in Indiana.
Yeah. How's that dark? That's pretty light.
I'd say it's bright as hell. So I actually looked it up, and the enrolled student body is 76% white.
Oh no!
Oh.
And the school is desperate to change that. On every ad, you see a person of color, which I am absolutely for. I do not want to be at a 76% white school. And our next highest is African American or Black, just 7.71%, and Hispanic or Latino at 6.26%. But still, the second most, I guess, abundant kind of person here is still not even 10% of the student body. So yeah, that's wonderful. That's all I have. How would you rate Ball State, given the stereotypes? Would you ever want to come to this school?
Well, I think for me personally, since I actually Ball State was one of the schools I was deciding to go to before I chose my other school that I'll get to later. So I would say it's probably realistically 8 out of 10, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, because I do like the campus and the buildings are very nice.
Yeah, and Ball State's the only one that we all, except for Ben, actually visited. My sister gave us a tour. So we actually have been here and all together and taken a look around campus. So yeah.
Yeah. What about the other two? Do you guys?
I would
go ahead, Ben.
Oh, okay. Well, I personally would not want to go to Ball State, but that's just me because I wouldn't want to go to any party school really.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'd kind of just like to do my own thing, and I'm sure there's plenty of people at Ball State who do the same. But,
oh yeah, we're what the fourth largest university in Indiana, counting Ivy Tech. So it's there's a lot of different people here. It's just I live right on Frat Row as well, so it's
oh, you get the worst of it then.
Yeah.
I would say for me, it's a no because Ball State doesn't have anything that I'm really interested in.
True.
For being in the sciences, it's not really a big school for that. So, yeah.
But for the party and for the Bob Ross,
For good old Bob Ross.
Do it for Bob.
It sure is tempting, but I'm going to have to say no.
And you could meet the creator of Garfield. That's just, I'd be starstruck. It's still my goal. He teaches on Mondays, as far as I know. And I know exactly what building he teaches in. I know exactly what classroom he teaches in. I just have yet to try to meet him.
Wait. The creator of Garfield teaches classes on Mondays.
Mondays. Man, he's kind of going against his own ideology there.
Yeah, pick a side, honestly.
I'm disappointed, honestly. I never put two and two together. That's kind of
seriously? That's the most obvious.
Maybe I don't want to meet him because he obviously doesn't stick to his morals.
It'd be funny if he cooks lasagna for his class.
he does a cooking class.
Imagine a student of his is like, hey, Mr. Davis, I brought you lasagna for lunch, and he's like, oh, I don't like lasagna.
What the hell is this? Get this out of here.
I don't want this. Are you crazy?
Oh my god. So I still do want to meet him, even though he's not who I thought he was. But I do want to move on. Who wants to go next with their college stereotypes?
I can go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say you're the next biggest one.
Okay. So I'd say the biggest stereotype, and it's true, is that our Purdue is a engineering school,
Okay.
and while
Mhm.
yes, we have an amazing engineering program, um, it also gets overlooked that we also have other amazing programs such as pharmacy, nursing, education, speech pathology, audiology, um, like biological sciences, business. I think the list keeps going for a few more, but those were the ones that come to my mind.
Okay.
And so, we and agriculture. We also have an amazing agriculture program. So, yeah. So the only people that know Purdue's a great pharmacy program is the people that go to Purdue
Mhm.
or from Indiana. But fortunately, Purdue is such a widespread name that it's not too horrible of a deal.
Yeah.
Um, so that's always nice. But I'd say some other stereotypes is that um, I also think Purdue doesn't gets overlooked as a pretty campus. I think because we're going in competition with IU, so I think there were and Ball State, honestly, because
Mhm.
when I visited Ball State, I think Ball State is a pretty campus.
Mhm. Yeah, and we went in the winter, and it was ugly as hell in the winter when we all
Yeah,
visited. So it is a pretty campus, and IU. Do you think IU is pretty?
I think so. I think what makes IU pretty is that it is very spread out, so
Mhm.
there's a lot of nature in
That's
between buildings.
that's fair.
But that's a big problem when it comes to me deciding on a campus is I don't want to walk a whole mile between classes
Mhm.
because they're all spread out. Um, and then another thing is IU does something very unique where they use limestone in all their buildings.
I was
And
just about
Purdue,
to real
ooh,
Hoosier limestone, man.
right. And I think that's really cool, but it's awfully gray
Mhm.
for a campus, and I think it's just kind of depressing. Whereas Purdue does use brick and mortar for all their buildings, and I think it brings some contrast and color to campus, and it makes it look cool. A lot of the buildings are brick with terracotta roofing, and it's actually, if you look at it from the
I am so sorry. There's a drag race going on outside. Continue, Gunnar.
um, it's if you look at it from an aerial view, it's actually really pretty, and it looks really neat. So,
Mhm.
I think that there really truly isn't a more pretty campus in Indiana. It's just they're all uniquely gorgeous in their
Mhm.
own way.
Mhm.
And
Um,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was done. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was gonna say what Ball State has in that regard is black squirrels. That's pretty rare for Indiana. I think we're the only
Oh,
region that has black squirrels. Uh,
Huh.
yeah.
we have black squirrels. Iwu.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, and we're the same region. So, yeah. So we both have black squirrels, and also our buildings are designed to look like what they are. So, like our library is designed to look like a bunch of books stacked together. Our College for Architecture and Planning, the CAP Center, is designed to look like a drafting board, but it is the ugliest building on campus. It is so ugly. I don't know what they were thinking, but the concept is cool. So yeah, I think you're right in that. Yeah, and I've seen Ben's campus. It's also gorgeous. I think they're all uniquely beautiful in their own way. But based on your stereotypes, would I go to Purdue, you ask? Yeah, why not? I've
I
always loved
would as
Purdue.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
What about Ben? Did you ever say whether you would go to Purdue?
No, really, I never looked into it. I kind of really only looked into smaller schools. Well, it's actually strange because I did look into one big school, which is the University of Louisville,
Mhm.
but I think really the main reason I wanted to go there was just because of the city. I really like Louisville.
Yeah.
But no, other than that, I haven't really had too much of an interest in going to Purdue.
Okay. But like just based on the stereotypes, like would it be a school that you'd want to go to?
Probably not. Still.
And that's perfectly fine. It is a huge school.
Yeah,
So
that was my biggest issue with it when I visited. I felt like, because with the size of Ball State, you still have the big college feel, but like you feel like you belong. That's what I've always said. But with something like, because the entire campus is 15 minutes walk across, you know. But with something as big as Purdue, it's a big old square. There's so much going on. There's so many people. It's easy to get lost and not really feel like you belong. Which I didn't. I don't go there, so I guess that might have a reason. That might have something to do with why I didn't feel like I did. But
sure, I'd say it was definitely overwhelming when I first got to Purdue. But one thing I really learned is that it's a big school with a lot of small communities. So there's surely a community that you can fit in, and I mean that's really true. So, yeah, just because there's a lot of people, I still feel really fit in the school, and it's been great. So yeah.
Who should go
Great, man.
next?
I think Ben should go next.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I go to Indiana Wesleyan University. First thing I actually want to ask before I get into it is, have you guys ever really heard of Indiana Wesleyan before I started going there?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
I actually had no idea it even existed until you decided you were going there. Ben.
Really?
Yep.
I'd heard of the smaller, because is IWU for profit? Do you know?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, because I think it and Marion used to run ads a lot on like the morning news, or like the morning, you know, like when you'd wake up for school, you'd see like IWU and Marion University ads. I'd never heard of Taylor, which Taylor's like right between us, Ben, and that I just didn't even know that till I literally passed it. But yeah, I had heard of IWU.
Gotcha. Okay, well, yeah, IWU, like you said, is a very small school. It could take you probably 5 minutes maximum to just walk from one end of campus to the other.
Wow.
Yeah, which, like, yes, it's nice and it's convenient, but at the same time, it kind of feels a little trapping, because, yes, during the summer and, like, late spring, it's beautiful, but all the rest of the time, it's just really dead and gray and, like, wet, and Gunnar, like you were talking about, just depressing. So that kind of gets to a lot of people, I feel like. But one of the stereotypes I would probably say is, like I said, I'm not a big party school person, and IWU kind of likes to try to be a party school, even though they're really not. I don't know. There's probably maybe like one big party a month or something like that. I've never been to any. I'm not much of a rager guy myself.
Really? I would have never expected that. I thought you would have been all the way in.
All
man.
the rage.
Yeah. I thought you would have started the parties.
Guys. Looks can be deceiving, I know. But no, I mean yeah, it's just they kind of try to put on their own, like school tries to put on their own parties, and they usually don't get too much attendance except for like maybe Rebash, which is our big one during the spring. But yeah, I mean, with such a small school, it's kind of hard to think of many stereotypes that like would be widely known or that people would associate with IWU. So unless you guys have any to add in there.
Yeah, I mean, to be frank, I think we're kind of in the same boat, because I mean, like Gunnar said, he didn't even know IWU even really existed until you told us that you were going there. So it's like, it's very hard to pinpoint like exact stereotypes to a school. I feel like it'll be a point where I get to, but it's like, I feel like small schools have stereotypes that more correlate to the city that they're in rather than the actual school itself when it gets to that point.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Marion the city shuts down at like 8 p.m.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah. So like the place I work, I get to leave at 10, and so when I leave, these are the places that I can go out and eat. I can eat at IHOP, Taco Bell, McDonald's, and I think like maybe Dairy Queen.
No,
and that's
no.
kind of iffy.
That's exactly that. Muncie, everything that doesn't close down at 9 closes down at 10, and I work at a place that closes at 10. So literally, I have the exact same choices of places to eat after work, except I don't think even Dairy Queen is open for Muncie.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And then at the actual school, there's one place called Mario's where they serve like pizza and wings.
Mhm.
And that's kind of like alternating days. Like sometimes it's wings, sometimes it's pizza. And that's the only place that's open, and it closes at, I believe, 11. So yeah, the eating situation isn't too great, and then as well as there's just not a lot to do in Marion. You can go like bowling, you can go skating at a little skating rink, and then I think that really sums it up.
Yep.
And one other thing that I forgot to mention about Iowa, which I think is different from a lot of schools, there's a really, really large female population here. I think there's like a 1-to-3 ratio or something like that.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
This reminds me of a crisis I've had in my life. So
You just had too many bitches. Sorry.
Oh my. No, so all right. Purdue is relatively 50-50, but the College of Pharmacy is actually more like it's like 2/3 female. So there's a lot of women in the College of Pharmacy. Now, pharmacy itself is an industry that's also dominated by women. So when I work in the pharmacy, it's usually all with women. Sometimes there will be one other guy on occasions. I'm also in an organization that is dominated by women. Also, the person I spend the most time with is a woman. And granted, it's my girlfriend, but
real unique there, Gunnar.
Now, this is just too many women.
We should ban women, man.
Yeah, no, they did that back in the 20s, so it didn't work well.
It did not.
Okay, so based on the stereotypes of IWU, given that there are none really, I guess the stereotype can be that nobody knows about it. So I don't think I'd go personally.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, I bet it's probably very similar to the school I used to go to, but I still wouldn't see myself going to it realistically.
Speaking of the school you used to go to, Dylan, can you give us some more information about that?
Yeah, I think it's about my time to talk. So before I became a college dropout, I used to go to USI, the University of Southern Indiana, and that was in Evansville. And when I was going there, I was originally going to, well, I guess I'll just say that I was trying to do radio and television. So, since all of us besides Ben were all in this radio station in high school, I was the only one trying to actively go for that after I left high school. And USI was just the school that kind of lined up with what I wanted to do. So, and pretty much like the school itself, it's a lot like Ben, but it's also not like Ben because it's in an area where it's more known. Like Evansville, I'd say is probably one of the bigger cities here in Indiana.
Yeah, I think it's the third largest.
Third, really? I thought it was like fifth or something.
Maybe. I thought it was Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, Evansville, South Bend. I thought South Bend was smaller than Evansville, but I could be incorrect.
It's whatever, but still, I used to go there, and I think like I was saying with Ben's example, like a lot of the stereotypes that come with my school, besides like one that I could think of, really just relate more to the city that the school is in rather than the school itself. Like for example, Evansville used to be the most obese city in America, in all of America. And so I think a very common assumption about USI was that a lot of the students were obese. of course, that could be farther from the truth, as that statistic was made all the way back in 2011 when everything was so much more different. And of course, since then, the people who were in charge of the city passed laws to crack down on that, and it's no longer at that number one spot.
It's illegal to be fat.
It is illegal to be fat. Trust me, it's been really hard, but no. A lot of the student body is very fit, very slender. We have we have gyms at the school. I mean, I'm pretty sure every school has a gym, but I think one thing our school makes very prominent is like our athletics and whatnot and all that. I think another thing more directly to USI is that it's a very business orientated school. Like that's literally the only reason anybody goes to USI. And I could say to an extent that would be true. Like the majority of the students that are at USI are business majors. However, me and like a couple other people that I was around were like the very few exceptions that weren't, business majors.
Yeah.
The second majority were crime, like people who were trying to get into law enforcement, be detectives, stuff like that. And then the third quarter was more or less just art related majors, which would be in the area I was in.
See, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
Okay,
really.
So we had a common teacher, all three of us, and she made it seem like USI was the communication school. It was all about communications. It was all about radio and TV. It was all about I'm just shocked to know that wasn't even close to the truth.
Yeah, I was too, because like Gabe said, our teacher made it seem like it was a great communication school, and I go there and I look at everything and it's like, this is just a business school, but it has communication related stuff. I think because I know Ball State has its own radio station major or like program or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of other schools in Indiana really have that though. So that's probably why I think our teacher was saying that stuff, but I really don't know.
Yeah, she was also slandering Purdue and Ball State, and she ended up getting her master's at Ball State. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not trying to slander our teacher. I think she's the reason that we were interested in radio in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair because I enjoy doing radio. I mean, I enjoy doing this now, doing a podcast, because I think that's just natural to me. But of course, I at a point in time, I realized that's not what I wanted to do in life. And I realized that USI really didn't support communications like I thought it did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, it had that radio station, but what more from that really could I use to support me besides just that in particular? Because like I said, it was much more facing in the business side of things rather than the communications, which we were all led on to believe.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should ask you guys if you guys have any specific stereotypes about USI that you've heard. I doubt that you probably would have that many, but
yeah. God,
I don't have any.
Yeah,
I don't really have any either. I think also distance. We're 3 hours away from Indianapolis. Is 3 hours away from USI. So,
yeah. So like out of the four of us, I was the one that was the most secluded from everyone else, and it's like the one good thing about USI I think it had going for it is like the campus, because I very much like that. It's kind of like Ben's, where it would be a 5-minute walk from each building to building, and that was nice. The interiors of the building were very nice. Of course, I think even in the winter, the buildings were actually pretty. They were pretty. Like they were awesome to like walk around the campus and just look at everything. But realistically, I think that was the only thing it ever had going with it. And of course one thing's led to another, and now I am no longer a college student, so
which I'm happy for you, because I think
you seem way happier.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I generally am. I mean, I just realized the things that I truly wanted to do in life, college education could never really teach me. Like there's just like I remember like even for a time period at USI, I tried taking some classes in regards to understanding more about game design, because that's typically the area I'm in at work, and there was like only one class
Wow.
that I would be taking that would even remotely, like, even kind of relate to that.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, if I went to another college and transferred, I could learn more about it. But do I really want to transfer over for something I could just actually go out and do? You know, it's
because
that's
I
that's
mean,
how I saw it.
Ball State is investing heavily in esports right now, so I'm assuming there's kind of a game design coming with that. But still, I don't blame you. I wouldn't transfer to another college to learn something that you could easily learn in the field. You know, like might as well do hands-on instead of spend thousands of dollars to take a few classes on it. You know,
Right. Like in the cases like with you guys in the majors you're taking, it definitely, I think it does benefit to go to college and learn something about it. But it's just like in my field, it means so much more if like on your resume you actually have this experience like making games and doing stuff with game studios and stuff, rather than I went to 4 years in college and did a couple projects and now I have a degree to go along with it. Because that realistically will mean nothing when you actually try to go out there and start applying for jobs in the game industry.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
As for stereotypes, there really aren't any about USI. So, I mean, I guess I'd go. Why not? You know.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's fine, but yeah, I don't blame you. It's just there's nothing going for it, really.
So, moving on. From that, let's talk. We did our first little segment on our podcast, so let's discuss the differences between radio and podcasting just really quick.
Okay.
I don't think Ben will have too much to say here. But if he wants to like give us a first impression of podcasting, he's more than welcome. But the first thing I noticed is there's no music breaks. We don't have to say what song just played. We don't have to say what song's playing next. We don't have to stop every 5 minutes. We've been going for 31 minutes. I just checked. So yeah, I mean, I like that.
I like that too. I mean, yeah, Ben, do you want to comment anything on it before we move on?
No, I really have zero to add here.
Okay. Then I guess I'll kind of just go on from there. It's like with radio, there was also a very strict set of guidelines you had to follow so that, you, at least in our case, because our radio station that we had was a non-profit one, or like no commercial one. So that means we couldn't say, like, I couldn't talk about McDonald's on the radio station. None of us could. So when in our show at the radio station, we would have to make up our own restaurants or give these restaurants pseudo names that the audience can know what we're talking about. And we could also know as we're like doing the show that we know what we're talking about. Pretty much bottom line is that there was a lot more things we could not say. But now in the podcast realm, we could say whatever we want because we're the ones that have full control over what we, create and what we produce and what we send out.
I remember one time because there's a little loophole with the brand name thing that if you just said facts about it, you could mention brand names.
I remember that.
And my dumbass decided to do an entirely brand name episode in which I guess I didn't understand exactly what that meant. So our radio teacher ran into the room, interrupting our radio show for good reason, because we were just saying what we used. I thought we could say what we used because that's factual. It's a fact that I have an iPhone, but no, because that is endorsement.
That is endorsement.
So we cannot do that. That was I think our junior year. That was kind of embarrassing. But yeah. So I mean, we can if we want to say I don't know, Comcast sucks. We can. Nobody's going to get too mad at us about that.
I think all of us have iPhones and we use them every day.
Yeah, I used to have an Android and I switched between the two. But yeah, so I mean, I like the format so far, but it's definitely something to get. We haven't done anything radio related since 2019, maybe early 2020. So yeah, it's kind of fun to get back into it. Let's transfer over because the way that this podcast or the way that this radio show worked in high school is it's called Reality with a Twist because we take a seemingly boring topic and make it interesting. So future episodes will be more monotopic. It'll be one thing that we talk about for the majority of the episode. But the reason I chose all these little tinier topics is just to get a feel for all of us. So let's do another segment. This is some weird news, very recent weird news. And our first one which I want to hear your guys' opinions on, is balding man, so no hair, says stopping shampoo made his hair grow back. So
that's not ridiculous for them to say that, honestly.
Yeah, this is from News 18, and they said a man, quote, a man who was suffering from hair falling off and on the verge of being bald has stated that he restored his receding hairline and now has a full head of hair after he stopped washing it. So do you guys, first of all, believe that? And second of all, do you guys shampoo regularly?
I firmly believe that.
Okay.
And I think in my case, I completely understand, because for those who do not know what I look like, I am a person with very, very long hair, and I take great pride in it. It's my pride and glory. But one thing I learned is that shampooing it all the time can have more negative impacts on your hair growth rather than positive ones. So it doesn't surprise me that this guy stopped using shampoo and his hair started getting better because of that.
Actually, this was something I experienced. So I've also started to grow my hair out, and it's currently about 10 inches. And so, maybe not quite as long, but you get the gist.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, and so I noticed that as it got longer and the shampoo and conditioner I was using had all this junk in it that actually made my hair drier. Yes, conditioner made my hair drier. So anyways, so this is a big issue. So I started to look into shampoo and conditioner that has more natural based, and sure enough, it was way better for my hair. And it's a shampoo and conditioner with like 10 ingredients in it.
Oh wow.
So it's very natural stuff, and it's way better for your hair. So I would not be shocked if like the everyday shampoo and conditioner actually is more harmful for your hair.
Yeah, he said quote, clumps of hair would start falling on my clothes and I'd take an extra shirt to class because I knew my clothes would be covered in hair by the end of the first lesson. And he says, in an attempt to find a remedy, he hypothesized that his hair loss was being exacerbated by the chemicals he was using in his hair or in his shampoo. So he just stopped shampooing and his hair started like miraculously growing back. So I absolutely believe this too, because I used to have extremely bad dandruff, like horrible dandruff. Like every time I'd go and get my haircut, they'd make a comment on it, kind of bad dandruff. And literally I made one change, and that's that I only wash my hair every other day. I only shampoo and condition every other day. So, and since then I have almost zero dandruff. Like I haven't had any flakes at all recently.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben Smith? What do you think about shampoo and hair?
Well, coming from a guy who never had more than like an inch of hair until like sophomore year of high school, I don't have a whole lot to add in this realm. But no, I guess I do the same as you, Gabe. I usually wash sometimes and then just like rinse other times.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that helps a little bit with it being so dry. But yeah, no, that's pretty much about it for me.
So would you guys join, he started the quote, no poo movement. Would you guys join the no poo movement?
Well, I have Crohn's disease.
So out of luck for Dylan, but the rest of us. So yeah, I would absolutely join. I already have kind of.
I would probably go more Gunnar's route and like, if anything, kind of use more natural stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've done that with soap. I've actually started. This is gonna sound pretty. I mean, I've started using Dr. Squatch, and it's a little more on the expensive side, but for me, my skin, it's been so worth it. I love Dr. Squatch.
I actually did something similar where I switched over to a natural liquid soap. It's actually so safe you can use it on dogs.
Whoa!
Ooh,
wait. In that case, can you use dog shampoo on your head? Since it's safe for dogs?
I don't know. Anyways, but it's also like very minimal ingredients, and it's so much better for my skin. I used to have severe eczema, and that has helped significantly.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I think all jokes aside, though, I'm already on the no poo side. Like I don't have any of the fancy shampoos, but I probably only shampoo once a week, if that. So,
I agree. I don't use natural body wash. I always just use like Irish Spring, which I probably should use more natural stuff, but I refuse to use Dr. Squatch just because of their advertising campaign. I hate their advertising campaign so much. But yeah, I might switch to something more natural since you guys seem to have good reviews of it. For sake of time, I think we're going to skip our second news story. Let me just give you like the gist of it. The first known interstellar meteor struck Earth in 2014. So the first ever meteor outside of our solar system that we know of struck Earth in 2014 in Papua New Guinea. So with that being said, no opinions allowed on that one. Jeremy update. We have a Jeremy update. For those of you who don't know, Jeremy is also a member of our little friend group, but he, fortunately for him, he's on his mission. Unfortunate for us because we can't see him. He is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and he is currently in Utah doing his mission. So I have a little paraphrased Jeremy update. He sends us a little update email twice a month. So Jeremy got transferred from St. George to Cedar City, Utah. He's a little bummed about it as he's been in St. George for the past 2 months. There is a bright side, however, in that St. George is simply too hot for Jeremy. So he's excited to leave the heat and travel up north. I looked it up on the map. Cedar City is only like half an hour north of St. George, so I don't know how much better it'll be for him, but he is excited to cool off. He also has a new companion in Cedar City. He also got a surprise brownie that was, quote, a miracle, as someone reportedly broke into their car and gave them a brownie. He ate it. So that is your Jeremy update for
sounds like a Jeremy thing to do.
Yeah. I hope that brownie was not what it could have been. And I hope he enjoyed the brownie.
Me too.
Same here. What Jeremy didn't tell you is that they also stole $12,000 worth of value from his vehicle as well.
Yes.
But they kept the brownie.
Yeah, but they kept the brownie, so it kind of evened things out, you know. The car doesn't have wheels anymore, but yeah, brownie, you know, so.
Brownie.
Our last topic of the day before we move into our What Are the Odds segment is, how does college differ from what we expected? I think we should just take turns listing things because I have a little list of how it differs from what I expected. It's a lot harder to make friends than I expected. Would you guys say you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes. Yep. I think I was told, or I had the general idea, that everybody would constantly want to be making friends. And that's true, but it's so easy to talk to people. It's so hard to keep talking to people or like actually make plans with them or something. It's easy to get more comfortable with people I knew in high school. My girlfriend is somebody I kind of knew in high school that just happened to go to this college. And balancing work and school is a lot more difficult than I expected. Would you guys say you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm only working around 15 to 20 hours a week at my retail store. And I just, sometimes it's hard to keep up. I'm not even going to lie. I mean, I'm making it, you know, I'm not like failing, but it's, you know, sometimes I have this bad habit of when I'm not doing anything, I just think this is my time off. I have to savor it. I don't want to do anything, meaning homework. So that's completely on me, but still, you know, because as soon as I'm done with my 9:30, my 11, and then my 2 p.m., I have to go to work right after. So, what about you, Ben? Would you say that that's harder than you expected?
Gabe, I'm actually in like the same exact boat as you. I've got classes from the morning to like mid-afternoon, and then I get like a short break to maybe eat something, and then I'm off to work.
Yep.
Yeah, it's tough. It's been tough on like not only my academic life but just personal life, because I don't have enough time to just relax and do the things that I want to. And sometimes I'm just like, man, I really wish I could just like sit outside for a while in the sun and just exist. But even that is kind of hard to do.
Yeah. And like, it sucks because I don't get to, I spend a lot of time with my girlfriend, which, I'm very happy with, but that's about all the time I get, I it's like, I'm either at work, at school with my girlfriend, or I'm just kind of like, and that's it, I don't have much time for anything else, but I do appreciate the time I get with her so much, obviously. So yeah. And then I'm a marketing major, as we discussed, and all the stereotypes about business majors are absolutely true. They are all frat boys, and they all are entrepreneurs, or at least think they are. There are cool people there too, but it in every single class in the business school, there are absolutely people who are exactly who you'd expect to see in a business school. I guess you guys can't really agree with that because you guys aren't business majors, but just kind of let you know. And then finally, Yik Yak. Do you guys have Yik Yak?
I do.
Yeah.
What is that?
It is a toxic app that is completely anonymous. You get to chat with people, or you get to like post things, and I'd say kind of like a I don't know what I'd compare it to. Almost like a little Twitter for people just within a 5-mile radius, except it's completely anonymous. You get to upvote or downvote things. You don't know who posts things. And I've discovered that not only is Ball State a party school, it is one of the horniest schools, I think, in the country. People are, even midday, people are horny as hell. And just like with no shame, just like ask, let me just take a look at my Yik Yak real quick. Do you guys notice the same thing at all with those of you who have Yik Yak?
Well, I had Yik Yak for probably 2 weeks, and there's so much overwhelming negativity on that app that it got too much for me, to the point where like I couldn't deal with it anymore, and I just deleted it.
I do not blame you. Oh my God.
For me, it was just people are really depressed, and that just made me more depressed, and I just don't get on it very much.
No, and I noticed something. Different schools have different vibes. Like Ball State's is horny and party. I went to Ohio State to see a concert, and they were they were depressed. Like they were sad. I've never seen Purdue's, but it sounds like theirs was kind of similar. But yeah, so the ones I'm seeing right now is Somebody Take Me on a Date. That one has 3 upvotes. Somebody said I'm Still Not Sober. That one also has 3 upvotes, and that was 49 minutes ago. And Little Bites Fudge Brownies Make Me Come, and that one has now 2 upvotes. So
Goodness.
Yes.
Did it have 1 upvote prior to you reading that comment?
It did have 1 upvote prior to me reading that that one. But sometimes you just got to do what you have to do.
That's weird. I never heard of Yik Yak before. I
Really?
think I just didn't care enough to really be in that culture of my school when I was going to it. But
well, it was deleted. I think the app was taken down for a long time, and it just got like put back onto the App Store.
I see.
So yeah, maybe you just weren't in school when it was there.
Maybe.
But yeah, those are all of how college was different than I expected. Does anybody else have any?
I thought college would be harder. You guys might have different perspectives on that, but as for my majors so far, it's actually been pretty easy. I thought I would be spending like most nights of the week studying and like doing homework and whatnot, but no, I've been able to hold down like a job where I do 30 hours a week, and yes, it's hard, but I'm still passing.
Wow.
Like, yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat where it's like in high school. you guys saw I was not the best grade achiever, but then when I was going to USI, I made the dean's list and everything. It was complete 180 from how it was in high school. So I'd say it was just learning stuff and doing all that was a lot easier than it was in high school.
Yeah.
For me, it was the exact opposite. So I thought college would be easy, but I'm in my first year was easy. I did really, really well. I was in the top portion of my class and everything. I'm still doing fine, but I spend so much time studying because I'm in these 2 semesters. This semester and last are the 2 semesters that everybody applies to pharmacy school. And so they're trying to weed out as many students as they can. And so I'm in some of the hardest classes I'll ever take right now. And man, it is so difficult. I spend so much time studying. I used to work about 15 hours a week. I might work 5 hours every other week at this point.
I'm glad that they're being flexible with you though.
Me too, but still man, I thought I'd never expected to ever struggle this much in school, especially with how well I did in high school. This is a fever dream.
Yeah, wow. I'd say the material in the business school is obviously not difficult. It's the business school. But what is difficult is how professors kind of expect professionalism, which, that's fine. It's business college. But sometimes it's taken kind of to a ridiculous degree. Like this semester, my business teacher, I think it's like a business writing course. He said if there was a single typo in one of our assignments, we get a 0 on it. And the current project we're doing, if we miss a single class, we are kicked out of our groups. And the best grade we can get on the project would be a 65%. So we would still have to do the project from scratch, but we could only get a 65% on it. So in that sense, yeah, the professionalism thing kind of sucks. And attendance is mandatory in every single one of our classes, but the material itself isn't horrible. I'm definitely struggling more in college than I ever did in high school. I always had a really good GPA in high school, but this is definitely the worst I've ever done academically. So if we want to move into our final segment, I before the show, I told everybody to write some what are the odds. For those who don't know, what are the odds is a kind of like a dare game where you say a dare, you ask somebody to do a dare, but you say what are the odds that you do dare, and then they can set their own odds. So if the higher the number they say, the less likely they are to have to do it. So let's say I say, Dylan, what are the odds that you die? And then what would 2. You say? 2? Okay. So that means he's okay with dying. Like it's a fact of life, he has to do it. So then I would say, or somebody would count us down. Ben would count us down. He'd say 3, 2, 1. And then we'd say a number between 1 and the number they choose. So in the case of 2, there's a 50-50 chance basically of saying the same number. Well, not really. I think it's more like a quarter chance, but still, yeah, so the higher the number you say, the worse, the less likely you are to have to do something. I'm going to start with mine. So, right. Dylan, what are the odds that for the rest of the podcast, you have to talk like you're on the verge of tears?
I would say 10.
10? Okay, Ben, do you want to count us down?
Yep. Okay, right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
6. Immediately.
First one, we got a good one this time.
That was a good one. This is a really good one, guys.
Thanks. Are you good, Dylan? Are you okay?
I'm fine. Ben.
Do I go with my odds next?
No, I'm telling you my odds because I was the one that got called on to do mine.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, what are the odds that right now you gotta make a phone call to Little Caesars and you gotta sing to them OMFMG hello when they pick up?
That song doesn't have any lyrics.
I know.
I'm gonna do 12.
All right, I'll count you guys down. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
3.
Oh.
It's fine.
Okay, Ben. All right, you're next.
Okay. Gabe, what are the odds that for the next podcast, for the first 10 minutes of the podcast, you have to speak in an Elvis voice?
Oh my god.
That would be funny.
12. We'll do 12.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
2.
10.
Ooh,
No.
thank God.
Oh.
And I promise I wasn't stealing from yours. I actually had this one planned out.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought of mine last night when I was in bed about to fall asleep.
So did I actually.
That's a really good one, Gabe.
we have a bit of an issue here in that
Gunner's not here.
Gunner's not here.
Gunner's AFK.
Gunner
so
had to take a break. I don't know where he went. I don't know when he'll be back. So I think what we might do is cut and we'll return when Gunner is back. So we'll see you in a sec. All right, we're back and Gunner is back. So Gunner, would you like to do your odds?
Sure. All right, Ben. What are the odds that you give us a whole string of curse words right now for a minute straight that we'll censor out, of course?
Oh, man, that'd be funny.
20.
All right, I'll count you guys down. 3, 2, 1.
17.
11.
Oh. So
I'm very thankful that I didn't have to do that.
So for future reference in our future episodes, if we don't hit on any of these, we will elect one of our odds to be a descending odds. And a descending odds means that we go turn by turn. Each person has to do it. Has to risk doing the odds, except every time that we do it, we have to choose a lower number. So the likelihood of us having to do it gets higher and higher with each time that we don't hit. This time we did hit with Mario Dylan, with Dylan Wiley. He has to do his Verge of Tears. Yeah, but in the future, if we don't hit, which is very common for us not to hit, we will do a descending odd. So there will be at least one per episode. So with that being said, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we click off?
Well, we never did our interesting pharmacy fact.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's end out with that.
All right. So, as a pharmacy student, I'm just full of these pharmacy facts. And today's, I decided to talk about why you shouldn't drink grapefruit juice with your medication.
Oh.
So normally with your medication, they tell you not to drink alcohol, but what most people don't know is to not take grapefruit juice with it. And the reason is that a lot of medication gets dissolved and broken down, not dissolved, but broken down by this enzyme called CYP3A4. And says this is an enzyme that is produced in the small intestine. But the problem is, if you drink grapefruit juice, it blocks it from being produced. And there's a big problem. If we don't produce this enzyme, more of this drug goes into the bloodstream and you're more prone to overdosing.
Whoa.
I never knew that. When I used to be on Boostbrone, which was an anxiety med, and that medication sucked, but it did say specifically don't drink grapefruit juice on this medication. Yep. It said that, like, the first thing it said was avoid grapefruit products. So that's fair. I never knew that.
I guess I won't do that anymore.
Okay, have you guys ever, last thing, have you guys ever had blood orange juice?
What is that?
It's juice
Yes.
from a blood orange, and oh my God, it is the most delicious juice I've ever tasted. I used to be a completely grape juice fan. Like, I can't get enough of grape juice. I still can't. I'm still addicted to the stuff. But blood orange juice is like more mellow and sweeter than orange juice. And like, I got some from Fresh Time, man, and it was $5 for like a cup size, but I would pay that every single day of the year. Oh my God, if there's one thing you can take away from this podcast, get some blood orange juice. I don't care where you get it.
Why would they put blood in orange juice?
Why'd they hurt the orange?
Why would they make it or bleed?
I just looked up blood orange juice, and you know those like Tropicana orange juice cartons, the tall ones?
Yeah.
You can get one of those for $70 on Amazon of blood orange juice.
Goodness,
Prime
that seems
today.
a little excessive.
Yes. Yeah, maybe that $5 deal wasn't as bad as I thought, because I think it was 16 ounces for $5. So get some blood orange juice, and by the next podcast, please tell me your opinions. But I don't think our podcast will continue until summer, because all of us are busy with finals, especially Gunnar. We're all busy with final papers, final projects, finals in general. It's just a busy time of year. But we wanted to do a preliminary podcast just to see how we like it and see how this format works. And I had a lot of fun. What about you guys?
I agree.
I had a lot of fun too.
That's great. I could tell. All right. Well, I've been Gabriel Bickel.
I'm Gunnar Johnson.
I'm Dylan Wiley.
And I'm Ben Smith.
And we will see you next month for another episode of Reality with a Twist. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.